Okay, so Mary Claire's here. We're happy to see you. Hopefully some more students will come in. Number 9, I said calculate the quantity of apples that will maximize consumer surplus when given the price of apples and a table showing the quantity of apples and total benefit. Now, what I should have added here, and I will now, is total benefit in dollars. So this is a little bit different, okay? So if I were to give you an example, which I'm going to try to do. So if I were to say, let's see, insert table. And let's just do 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, let's do 7 rows. Oops, wrong way. 7 rows and 2 columns. Okay, so it doesn't have to be that large. So what you're going to see is you're going to see quantity of whatever it is, quantity here, right? Quantity. Right, and so the quantity is, you know, let's just say it's 1, 2. That's weird. Oh, I see. All right, 2. I don't do these tables often. All right, let me get rid of that guy. Okay, so I just do 3, and then what you're going to see over here is total benefit in dollars. Okay, total benefit in dollars. All right, and I just do it small, big, it doesn't matter. And so you're going to get, so what we're looking at here and what I'm asking you to look at is where would you maximize your consumer surplus when you look at the total benefit in dollars. Well, you're going to maximize the consumer surplus where the marginal benefit in dollars is equal to or greater than the cost. Right? Follow me?
Yeah.
So far? Okay.
Yeah.
So let's just say the dollar, to make this simple, right? Let's just say we're talking about, and I don't want to use apples because that's what they use on the actual exams. I'm going to use pears, okay? It doesn't matter. I'm going to use pears. And let's say the pears cost $1, okay? $1. Now, the important thing to, this is weird, the important thing to understand that if each of these apples cost $1, right?
Yeah.
The marginal cost of the 4th apple is what?
$4? Or
No. That's the total cost. If you bought all 4, the marginal cost is the price. Remember, it's $1, right? So the marginal cost is the price. So what you want to do is you want to find where the marginal benefit is greater than or equal to the price, and you'd buy it, right? So if the total benefit right here was, say, and this is going to be in dollars, okay? Let's say it's 5, okay? So if and this is consumer surplus, okay? But this is sort of arbitrary. I mean, this is like you're saying to yourself, what you're really saying to yourself is, I would have paid $5 for that apple. That's what consumer surplus is, right?
Yes.
So no, I'm sorry, I said that wrong. $6, because if the benefit is 5, then you would have, and you paid 1, and then you're saying I would have paid 6, right? But whatever, just that's okay. You don't have to really think about that. Just know what the total benefit is, okay? And remember, the marginal cost is the same because apples are the same price, okay? So if the marginal benefit, if the total benefit here is 7, what's the marginal benefit here?
$2.
2. So if the benefit is 2 and the cost is 1, would you buy that second apple? If the benefit is double the cost?
Yeah.
Sure you would. Now what if this total benefit was 8, right? 8. Okay. What's the marginal benefit?
$1.
Right. So isn't this true? Isn't that true here?
Yeah.
Right. Now, what if the total benefit right here was $8.99. Would you buy that fourth apple?
No.
No, because you have 1 penny less benefit than you get marginal than it costs. It costs more than what you're benefited. The marginal benefit here is 99 cents, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. So if you understand that, then you'll get the answer right. Okay, it's simple. Okay, that's that. Now, what I've done is I want to remind everybody that I hope watches the video that you have 2 really useful and helpful study guides. And I'm not talking about the one that I wrote up to show you how to study. I'm talking about this one right here, which shows you, it just has a lot of good stuff in here, okay? And you've got this, if you go to, not that, if you go to your class, which is right here, not there, hold on. Whoa, no. Don't go away, okay. Trying to find one, okay, here we go. So if you go here and you click on quizzes, right? And you click on, come on.
I can't see your screen.
Oh, you can't see my screen now? I stopped sharing, huh? That was weird. Okay. Didn't mean to do that. Sorry. Okay, now you should be able to. Now you can, right? So if you click here and you go to the study guides right here, the ones that I've got pulled up, except it's being really slow. The ones I got pulled up are this one right here and this one right here. All the graphs you need to know and AP. So they're in. Oh, wow. Yeah. So that's there, and I sent those out. Also, I sent those to you in email. And so what I'm going to be doing. You go to
quizzes. Okay.
Yeah. You just go to quizzes, and this is where all your study guides are for all your quizzes. But I've added these right for your final.
Oh, great.
Right.
Okay.
Right in there. Okay. So all these are going to be helpful because all these quizzes are AP exam questions, so they're all helpful. But this just puts everything in one place. So this one, for example, all the graphs you need to know are all the graphs you need to know, which is where did it go? Right here. Every one of them. Okay. So if you studied, so this is a really great study tool, just to like carry around with you, Yeah, because you want to be able to sketch all of these. You want to be able to, and then explain what's going on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try as much as I can to refer to these graphs when I'm going over the study guides, so you can sort of see, what you need to look at to sort of understand what they're asking or what you need to know to answer, right? So this probably goes into a little more detail than you really need. But the thing is, when you look at, like we actually talked about, you were here on Tuesday, right? Were you here?
No, I couldn't make
it. Did you watch the video yet? Did you?
I watched. I got through some of it, but then
you suffered through some of it. Okay. But I talked about this right here. This is this idea that as you, and this is true of diminishing marginal product, diminishing marginal return, diminishing marginal utility, which means if I eat cookies, the first 10 I eat, I'm going to get a lot out of it, right? My total, utility is going to go up.
Right.
But if I eat a whole box, I start getting sick about right there, right? So in other words, the more you consume of something, the less it helps you as you consume more and more and more, right? Some things are very simple, like some things like this right here. I can't play trombone if I don't have any trombones. 0 is bad. 1 is good. 2, what good is 2? I can only play 1 at a time, right? So I get a lot more out of the first one than I do the second one. And I might get a second one. I might get a second one that's a little bit different. But do I really need a third at all? So that's sort of the theory there. Anyway, let's jump back to the study guide. That's not what we want. Let me get rid of that. The study guide. Okay. So we did 10, and that's pretty simple. You won't have any problem with that, I don't think. And this is just simply understand the relationship that should be or whatever, the scarcity of a good or service and its market price. Okay, so if something becomes more scarce, right? If something becomes more scarce, that does that affect demand or supply?
Supply.
Yeah, absolutely. So if we look at we just click up here for a minute and find actually that's not the it is. We just jump up here to a basic supply and demand graph right here. If the supply curve, if it becomes more scarce, supply is going to shift to the left, which means price does what? If we go from like here up to here.
Price will increase.
Exactly. Easy enough. Okay. Yeah. Most of these questions, if you can picture the graph or even sketch it out really quickly, it's easy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Understand the relationship between percentage change in price and the percentage change in quantity demanded for a good when the demand for that good is price inelastic, unit elastic, or elastic, right? Okay, so if you know the formula for elasticity, right?
Right.
Then, and I'll bet you it's, let's see, which word's that going to be? Essential right here. So let me just, if I convert these to Word, they scroll a lot easier. PDFs scroll kind of weird, but I know it's. This is something good to understand how to figure out whether it's inelastic or elastic based on total revenue. But you can figure the other thing out from this, right? If price goes up, then it means demand is going to go down, right?
Mm-hmm. But
if price goes up more than quantity changes, goes down, then you get more total revenue. So this is inelastic. So this, if total revenue is going up while price is going up, then you know the percentage decrease in quantity is less than the percentage increase in price. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And remember, it's the percentage change in quantity over the percentage change in price. So if it's elastic, it means the percentage change in quantity is greater. So you're going to get some value over 1, because if the denominator is, if the numerator, which is the percentage change in quantity, is larger than the denominator, then it's going to be a value over 1. That's just, 4th grade math, right?
Yeah.
So if you have an increase in price, you're going to have a decrease in quantity demanded. And if the quantity demanded percentage-wise goes down more than the price goes up, you're going to get a decrease in total revenue, which is going to mean it's elastic, which means you're the elastic portion of your demand curve, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing to think about that, and so if you think about it, if something is elastic, then the percentage change in quantity is going to be more than the percentage change in price. Now, the other thing, since I'm on the topic, I want to jump back up here and actually do something real quick. Let me jump to the other one over here. And I'm going to cut this out. I'm going to cut this out real quick so I can play around with it a little bit. Actually, hold on a second. Let me see if they've got, I just want a normal one. Yeah, that here's good. Okay. This one is simple graph right here. And stick it right here. Okay, so one of the things you're going to get asked is what portion of this demand curve is inelastic, and what portion is elastic, and what portion is close to 1, right? So let's just and this is going to be very crude, but it'll be quick. Let's say this is 0, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And let's say this is a price of 10, and we'll just do it real simple. So this is a price of 10, and this is a quantity of 10, okay?
Okay.
And I'm just going to do, all right. So if we are here, whoops, I don't want to do that. Let me just do this real quick so I don't do that again. Okay, so if we're here, right? Come here, you. Okay, if we're here.
Okay.
And we're here, right?
Right.
Then this portion right here is going to be the percentage change in both quantity and price are going to be fairly close. So that's going to be fairly close to being unit if it's 5 and 5, right? Mm-hmm. So if you go from, if we moved, say we move, let me get a little thingy here. Say we move, just a little bit right in here, then the percentage change in price and quantity are going to be about the same, assuming that this is 5, and this right here is 5, right? So you're going to be close to unit elastic in this area right now. But now look, if we go up here, okay?
Okay.
And we say, okay, we're moving from 9 to 10 in quantity. Price. 9 to 10, right?
Yeah.
So that's roughly a 10% change, or 10% change. But we're moving from 0 to 1 in quantity. That's 100% change. See, it's percentage change, right? Yeah. So the percentage change in quantity is way higher up here, which means more elastic, right? Because quantity is changing more. Quantity is changing more than price.
Okay, I had it backwards.
Yeah, that's okay. I get it backwards all the time. But just think about it. Quantity, the percentage change in quantity up here. I mean, even if you drop down, say you went from 2 to 3. Well, that's a 70. I can't do the math real quick in my head. That's like 2 to 3, 33% change. 2 to 3, 66. It's a big change, but bigger than going from 8 to 7, right?
Yeah.
So the prices. So when you're in the high range of the prices and the low ranges of the quantity, then the percentage change in quantity is going to be more, right?
Right.
So trying to think of a real life example that would make more sense. But anyway, I'll think of it in a minute. But
it makes sense.
But on the other end, when you're way out here, a large percentage change in the price has a very small percentage change in a quantity, right?
Right.
So this is more inelastic, okay? More inelastic. Because you've got a lot, because you're at the higher end of your quantity, so just a little bit of a change. So so once prices get that low, it tends to not make a lot of a difference in terms of quantity, right? Quantity of percentage change, it doesn't change a lot. Now, we can actually, what I want to show you, what I do sometimes is if you just go to a Google and say, watch this, a demand supply graph elasticities. This is how easy this is, because it's all over the internet, right?
Yeah.
And you can go here and you can probably find something pretty quick right here, right?
Yeah.
See, this is more elastic, more inelastic. So that was that quick, right? Which is why I have to have your final exam proctored, because it's so easy to find these. I mean, you know, the answers are just too easy to find, and it's tempting, isn't it? Just to go, you know, find the answer. Okay, so that's that. I understand. So I did that. Okay, number 13, identify the price and quantity that lies on the market demand when the given. Okay, this is the one that I think Julia was asking. She was totally confused by this. Okay, what I'm getting at there, let me look at the actual question so I can get this right. Give me 1 second. I'm going to reread the previous one. Oh. This is so easy. I was overthinking it. It's just ridiculously easy. Okay.
Okay.
What all they're doing here is they're giving you how could I I'm trying to think how I can explain this to you without just giving you the answer. I almost gave you the answer to the other one. I don't really need to give you the answer. What you're looking at is you're looking at a table that has, let me just show you real quick. Easier to show you. You're looking at a table. I'll do it. Let's see if I can do this fairly quickly. It's got like 1, 2, 3, 4 columns, and it doesn't have 4 columns. Yeah.
Okay.
Let me just do 4 columns, and it's got some rows. It doesn't matter how many rows really. Okay. So what they're showing, these tables are weird how they work. They don't scoot around. I don't like these tables. So you've got prices here, okay, going from high to low. All right, so doesn't matter. Let's just say it goes 1, and this is like 3. Oh, not that. Okay, get in there. Okay, 3. Say this is, I don't know, 6. I keep doing the wrong. Okay, I don't use this a lot. There we go. 6. Yeah, I've got to get that blue to show. All right, 8, and let me do one more here, and that's 11. That's prices. That's prices. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I don't even label it. Just this is prices. And then what they've done is they got 3 consumers here. So actually, you know what? Let me delete that. Put P there, and these are consumers. Okay. I did it again. These are consumers. 3 different ones, right?
Yes.
Man, if I do that one more time, you got to get the blue to show. There. Okay. Okay. Now, and then what they've done is they've given quantities in here, okay? Quantities in here. So if you're looking at a demand curve, you're going to see this. This is going to actually be the curve, isn't it? Right? So say this was like, say at 8, you had consumer 1 bought 5 of them. Consumer 2 bought 7 of whatever these things are, and consumer 3 bought 9, right? Well, you should be able to look at a demand curve and see at the price of 8, a quantity of what's 16 plus 5, 21, right? So because this is all the consumers that are buying at a price of 8, right?
Yeah.
Follow me? Yes. So if you were to convert this 1 point, this is 1 point on the demand curve, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if you and so you would actually have a demand curve, which right here you have a price of whoops, wrong way. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
You have a price of 8 and a quantity of, did I do that right? 21, right? That's 21.
Yeah, it's 21.
Okay, yeah, thank you. 21. so this would be 8, right?
Yeah.
And it could be, and that could be where but it could be anywhere on there. But let's just say that's where the actual supply is too. It doesn't matter, right? So you'd say, okay, that's where that point is, right? Now, what they're giving you is they're giving you a series of numbers in here, right?
Yeah.
And then they're giving you a series of, like, they're giving you the answers only have one price and one quantity. So all you have to do is look at the table and look at the answers and see which answer has the price that matches the combined quantity. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be, like, if this was a question, there'd be only one answer that had a price of 8 and a quantity of 21. The rest of the answers,
like where the table and the graph just like match each other.
Yeah, because the wrong answer is going to be a price of 3, and let's say this is 3, and this is 3, 4, and this is 6. Doesn't matter.
Okay.
One of the wrong answers is going to be a price of 3 and a quantity of 20. It doesn't match up, right?
Right.
So only one of the answers has the right price with the right combined. It's so super simple, like you overthink it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's all it is. Because I looked at it for a long time, like, what are they doing? And so that's why I had a hard time, like, writing out what you had to know for this, because it's kind of a weird question.
Yeah, it's weird to put it into words.
Yeah, exactly. If I could, but if you think about it on that type of a table, and you might get something else on the AP exam, right? I have no idea what they're going to ask you on the AP. It'll be something similar, and they'll show you a table like this that has a price here and then quantities out here, and that actually is the data that goes into driving your demand curve, right?
Right.
If it's correct, if all of it's correct. Yeah. Okay. What time is it? 8:35. Okay. We're going to go to about 8:40, 8:45, because I think that's late enough. We can do more on Tuesday and Thursday. Okay. Understand how a purchase of new, more efficient equipment affects marginal cost and the total cost of production.
This like.
So go ahead.
As to say, like, increase efficiency, or
but would that make the
supply.
marginal cost? But what would that do to the marginal cost curve, the supply curve? Would it shift?
Or shift it to the right?
Exactly. Very good.
Because it can make more faster.
Yeah. Now the other part. Now I'm trying to see what I wrote and how that makes sense with what the actual question is. Okay, mm-hmm. so it's gonna actually right, the marginal cost curve, the short run marginal cost curve, which we can see it right here, is going to shift down or to the right. You might see always remember, in the market, the marginal cost curve is the supply. They're one and the same. So it's going to shift down because the cost of production is less. Now, when we jump down here to a different graph, the marginal cost curve right here is going to shift. And this is more, it's down, but this will be kind of more to the right. It shifts this way, right? Right?
Right.
Now, remember, they bought new equipment. So when you buy new equipment, what kind of cost is that? And when you buy new equipment, what?
Internal?
You're close. It's a cost that you buy. It's a one-time cost that the longer you operate, the average of it goes down. It's like the initial cost of your startup, right? Fixed cost.
Oh, okay.
Right. So when you buy new equipment, we consider that fixed cost because you could buy new equipment and not produce anything. I could buy a brand new lawnmower to mow my lawn, and the cost would be up here. But if I don't mow my lawn, the output stays zero, right?
Right. Yeah.
So if I buy a brand new lawnmower for $100, the first time I mow the lawn, the average fixed cost is $100 because I only mowed my lawn once, right? Very high.
Yeah.
But if I mow my lawn 10 times, then now the average fixed cost is $10. So since it's a fixed cost, you only buy the lawnmower once. The more times I mow my lawn, the average goes down, 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 right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So what is the difference between average variable cost and average total cost?
Okay. Average variable cost.
Average fixed cost, right? Average total cost is average variable cost plus average fixed cost, right? Now, use my lawnmower example. Average variable cost is going to be the cost of gasoline, right?
Yeah.
In my lawnmower. And maybe costs of something else, but mainly that's what it's going to be. So the average total cost of me mowing my lawn is the average fixed cost of the lawnmower plus the gas, right? So if the company if I buy a new lawnmower, my marginal that works better, right? That's more efficient, it uses less gas. It means my marginal cost each time I mow my lawn goes down because my lawnmower is more efficient, a better model, whatever. So this shifts to the right. My average fixed cost jumps up and my average total cost is going to go higher, right? Because the average total cost is a sum of average variable cost plus average fixed cost, right? Does all that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah. So the important thing here is when you buy new equipment, the reason why average total cost goes up is because average fixed cost goes up, not necessarily average variable cost, okay?
Okay.
Because if you think about it like this, if we don't really factor in the gas doesn't change, right? Let's just say that we bought a new lawnmower and it's going to be more efficient because it's easier to use. It doesn't necessarily use less gas, but the person I'm paying to mow my lawn, that's the average variable cost, right? I only have to pay this if I actually mow my lawn, and I'm paying a guy to mow my lawn, whatever I'm paying him, right? So that's why that costs. And if we take this example one step further, the average variable cost is typically higher over here because in this case, the guy mowing my lawn isn't really good at it yet, so it takes him a lot longer, so I got to pay him more. But as he gets better and better at mowing the lawn, then, and probably a better example would be a kid going out mowing lawns for money, right? Because the more lawns, so as we go from this way, he's mowing more and more and more lawns, right? So his cost goes down because he's getting better at it, more efficient. trying to think of how to make this work for marginal costs going up. Each additional loan costs a little bit more theoretically because I have to think about that. But what I really want to say is, at some point when he mows a lot of lawns, he starts getting tired. So it actually starts costing him more, right? That's sort of how it works. At some point, cost starts going up because you become less efficient. Your equipment starts wearing out. A lot of reasons, but so I'm just trying to sort of get you to see, so you don't just have to memorize these graphs. You sort of understand like why they're, what the theory is behind why we say it kind of looks like this, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Factor markets. Where are we? Okay. So this is another table one, I think. Yeah. Where we want to identify the marginal revenue product of a specific worker when given the price of the product and the total output after each individual worker is higher. Okay. So what that means is, if we know what the output sells for, right? So let's just, I've got to show you a table. It's just hard to explain without showing you.
Mm-hmm.
So say we have, this is going to be just one. Okay, so I'm going to do this again. Insert table. I need 2 rows and maybe 5. That's fine. Okay. Whoops, I did it backwards. Undo. Okay, do that again. Insert table. I need 2 columns. Okay, not 2 rows. So I need 2 columns and maybe 5 or 6 rows. Okay. Now, what they're going to give you, it doesn't move around. Okay, is they're going to give you number of workers here, right?
Right.
Workers here, and they're going to give you output over here. Okay. So if worker number 1, 2, 3, let's say worker number 4, I did it again. Got to remember it. Got to get the blue. There we go. Worker number 4, say he has an output of 10, right? Output of 10.
Yeah.
And these 10 widgets, 10 thingies, 10 whatevers, are selling for $2. Okay.
Right.
That means his marginal product, MP, marginal product, well, total price, well, hold on, let's see. Okay, so this output they're giving you right here is total, okay? So let's say this, so we got to put something else in here. Say the third worker produces, the whole firm with the third worker produces 8, okay? So this is total output, right? So the marginal output, the marginal product right here is going to be what?
2.
Right, 2. So if this worker is producing 2 at a price of $2, what's the marginal revenue product of that third worker?
6.
2 times 2? Come on.
What, 2 times 2? That's 2 times 3 for the third worker.
He's the third worker, the fourth worker, I should say. The fourth worker is what we're talking about here. What's his marginal revenue product? His marginal product is 2, right? Because when we hired this guy, the company's total went from 8 to 10, which means his marginal product was 2, right?
Okay.
So if we were selling them for $2 each, what's his marginal revenue product?
4.
4, yeah. You see, it's simple. Okay. You're overthinking it like I do, right? You're overthinking.
Yeah, I was multiplying workers times marginal revenue. I mean marginal.
Not the worker. This is only, see, this is the fourth worker. Yeah, don't get confused. this is 2, 1, 2. Let me put it in. This is after 1. This is after 2. See, this is like we're going to hire 1. Now we're going to hire 2. Now we're going to hire 3. And this is the total output. So let's just go ahead and put it. Let's say it's 4 here, and let's say it's actually let's say it's 2 here, and let's say it's 4 here, right? So each one of these has a marginal product of 2, right?
Right.
Now,
wait, I can't. Oh.
So what they're going to ask you is they're going to say, okay, what is the marginal revenue product of the fourth worker? And it's just really simple. You just look at what his marginal product is and multiply by the price. Okay.
Okay.
Now they might ask you something more complex than that, right? They might say the wage rate is let's see how they ask that. They would say the wage rate is $2 an hour, and this is output per hour. Okay, output, not output. Supposed to correct me when I make mistakes. This is on video, you know. Output. What time is it? We got to get going. Output per hour. Okay, per hour. Okay. Now, and let's just say the fifth worker, the total output of the company increased by 1.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and the wage rate, remember, equals marginal revenue product. That's the wage. Okay, this is the price. Okay,
Sure.
but the wage is going to be needs to be less than or equal to, because you don't want to pay anyone more than they're able to produce, right?
Right.
So if the fourth worker has a marginal product of 2, and that means and it sells for and those 2, whatever those 2 things are, 2 widgets sells for $2 each, then that fourth worker has a marginal revenue product of $4. And if you're paying that worker $4 an hour, then you would hire him, right? That's the wage, right? The wage is set at $4 an hour. Would you hire the fifth worker?
No.
No, because his marginal or her marginal revenue product is only 2, because 1 times 2 is 2, right?
Yes.
So they might ask you, how many workers would a firm hire, or what would be the last worker the firm would hire? And you'd say 4, the fourth one, right?
Because
because the fifth worker is, they all remember, it's usually almost always going to be a perfectly competitive labor market, which means they all make the same wage, right? So if you hire anybody, you have to pay them $4 an hour. Okay, that's the wage.
Right, and if they're making less than you're paying them, and that's
right. If they're producing, if their marginal revenue a product calculates to be less than the wage, then you don't want to hire them, right?
Yeah.
Now that means, this is the last thing we're going to do, because I want to sort of land this. Okay, so if we look at the graph, which I hope is in here, I'm sure it has to be in here. Let me just scoot back up to find it. Probably going the wrong way. Yep, I'm going the wrong way. If you look at the graph, graphically, what I just showed you, I hope I can find it. Come on, where did it go? The scrolling for these is so slow. I don't like it. It drives me nuts. Yeah, here we go. Right here, okay. What I just showed you is graphically that fifth worker is that we don't want to hire, right? Has a marginal revenue product of less than the wage, right? So theoretically, this would be a table that I did would be more like an output of theoretically, when you see these tables, this would be like 3 margin. This would be a 5, right? It'd be bigger, and it would gradually come down. So not a 3, a 5. Sorry. So this would be a marginal product of 3. This would be a marginal product of like 2.5, right? Marginal, and then this would be a marginal product of 2, which would be 9.5, right? 9.5. Right. So that's where we'd stop because and then this would be a marginal product of less. So 9.5 plus 1.5 is what? 11, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that right there is showing what we're looking at right here, right? So as we hire more workers, the first workers we hire actually has a marginal revenue product higher than the wage, right? Because 3 times 3 right here times 2 is 6. So they're even, but we're still only going to pay them 4 because that's the wage rate that
Sorry, where did the 3 come from?
3 times 2, right?
Like where's the 3?
Right. If the price is 2 and the marginal product is 3, then the marginal revenue product.
Okay.
Yeah, I know.
I thought you were talking about the first worker. I was confused. Okay.
Yeah, they'll always show you totals, and you got to figure out the marginal, right? The change here, right? This change is 3. This change is 2.5. This change is 2, which is equal to the wage because 2 times 2 is 4, right? And this change is okay. So what we're doing with this is we're actually showing you on a table moving this way, right?
Yeah.
And this is the wage of 4 right here, right? Set by the market, right? And then the next worker hired, we wouldn't hire him. In other words, we stop right there, right? We stop right here, and in the tables that we're showing that as being right here, right? Where it's 2, where it's equal, where 2 times 2 is 4. So right here, the fourth worker right here has a marginal revenue product exactly equal to wage, which would be right there, right? That would be 4 right there, right? If this was the graph of that table.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, wait, can I see the table again?
Yeah. So we've got, remember, the marginals here are 3, 2.5, 2, 1.5. So the marginal revenue product is coming down.
4 equals, I see. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so as we add more workers, the marginal product or the marginal revenue product is coming down. Because if the marginal product is coming down, then the marginal revenue product is coming down because price is the same. Price is constant, right? So marginal product and marginal revenue product are going to be parallel, right? They're going to move the same, aren't they?
Right.
Yeah. So, but this graph typically shows the marginal revenue product and that's wage, right? That's the marginal, not there, sorry, here. Sorry about that. Marginal revenue product, right? The labor demand curve of a firm is equal to the marginal revenue product of that firm, right? That's the labor demand. So in this case right here, this is your fourth worker that has a marginal product of 2, a marginal revenue product of 4, because the price we said was 2, which means he's exactly equal to the wage, or she is exactly equal to the wage, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the fifth worker has a marginal revenue product of 3, because 1.5 times 2 is 3, which is lower than the wage. So we wouldn't. So that worker would be like right there, right?
Okay.
And so if you understand that, so if you really understand these graphs and understand what's going on, and if you go back to the handout, they're really well explained.
That makes sense. Yeah.
they're explaining right here. So if you only like if you have to really prioritize what you're going to do with your studying, I would go to what I would do is go to the questions or the study guide that I gave you for the final, either that or the quiz, the questions, and try to find the graphs or the formulas over here, or that match up, and say, okay, what do I need to know about that, right?
Okay. So like is the final study guide like the questions like the descriptions? Because I know it's like as you just had, like it's like a kind of more of a description of a question that you should know about. Like that's kind of what we need to know for the test, right? Like that's
right. No. These the study guide right here is, I didn't try to pull any punches. This is each individual question all the way through 60, right?
Oh, so the final is written kind of with like based off of this, or vice versa?
This is based off the final.
Okay. Oh, cool. Okay.
I wrote this from the final, right? I looked at the questions and wrote this. Like the question I asked myself was, what do the students need to know in order to be able to answer this particular question, right?
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
Yeah. So if
it's very helpful.
Yeah, and right. So if you concentrate on this, but relate this though. Have this in your, have this in front. Have these two study guys in front of you, right? And try to sort of see how find the connections, right? Find the connections.
Yes.
And I think you'll do fine. And then I'm going to try to get a chance. I don't really need to, I don't think, but I got to look at it again, because I also told you down here what you need to know for the free response, right?
Yeah, okay.
What I'll probably do is Tuesday, I'll finish up whatever I think you need to know, because a lot of these are just, this stuff, like understand why consumer surplus exists. I mean, just look up consumer surplus, right? I mean, this is not hard stuff. And I think probably on this study guide right here, it probably talks about it. I'd have to scroll through, because this is like 18 pages long. This is a big study guide.
Yeah, I did.
So there's I'm sure they talk about consumer. So most of what you need to know, I mean, is pretty much condensed right there in those two study guides. And
okay.
And then Thursday, I'm going to try to get done with most of with whatever I'm going to do with the multiple choice on Tuesday, and then we'll spend Thursday talking about the free response. Okay. That's my plan anyway. All right. So I have kept you. Anyway, thank you for coming in.
No problem.
I've kept you for an hour, so that's long enough. I will say good night. Okay. All right.
Good night.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.